In this video, I'll describe drawing accurate arches using circles, and it's in my book, Ellen's Guide to Perspective, on Amazon. There are two types of semicircular arches. In this first type we'll talk about, the center of the circle is at the base of the arch, and all the lines from the stones go to that center. To make it look realistic, include a keystone which straddles the vertical center line. Here is an example, and to find its base, we need to find where it stops curving. So the base would be about here, and the center of the circle would be about here. This is the second type of semicircular arch, and this time the center of the circle is below the base of the arch. And you may have lines going to a pseudo-center here, but these lines are just decorative, not structural. This is an example of a semicircular arch with its center below its base. So here is the arch, and its base is where it stops curving. And the center of the circle is probably around here. I'm going to discuss three types of pointed arches. The wide arch, the Gothic arch, and the Lancet. And the main difference is that they just get increasingly narrow. To draw a Gothic arch, draw two circles the same size so that the center of the green circle here overlaps the blue circle, and the center of the blue circle over here overlaps the green circle. In this way, the centers of the two circles are at the base of the arch, and this whole inside area is the arch. It resembles an equilateral triangle. A wide arch, in contrast, is composed of two identical circles, but this time the centers of the circle are inside the arch, still at the base of the arch, and this makes the arch wider than the Gothic arch. The Lancet arch is the narrowest because it's formed by two identical circles whose centers are now outside the arch. To find the top of an arc, what you can do is put it in a rectangle, draw the diagonals, and at the intersection of the diagonals, draw a vertical line up, and that will be the top of the arch. Now, to find the center of the base, you can use the same technique as with the circle because as long as these arches are made of circles. So you can draw a line tangent to the circle, or you can draw a chord that goes from one point on the circle to the other. And then draw a perpendicular line either from the tangent point or from the middle of the chord. And if you draw two such lines, you will find the center of the circle. Similarly, with an arc, you can find a tangent line and draw a line perpendicular to it, or you can draw a chord going from one point on the arc to the other, find its middle, and then draw a perpendicular line, and they will meet at the base of the arch in the middle. Now, this can be used because these arches are composed of circles, but this doesn't work for ellipses. Here is an easy way to draw a vaulted arch. First, set up 3 or 4 posts that recede in the distance, and then you connect adjacent posts on the other side. So, for example, 1 will be connected to number 2. You can see the orange line connects the two of them. 2 is going to be connected to number 1. You see the blue line for that. And 2 can also be connected to number 3, which is the green line. But it doesn't connect to itself. It doesn't connect to 2. Here are two other types of arches. There's an elliptical arch with a horizontal ellipse on top, and there's a parabolic arch. And it differs from an ellipse, which I drew in blue here, because the parabolic arch doesn't meet the ground at a right angle. When drawing stones or bricks on a bridge, they should be horizontal, even though the bridge curves, except for the stones comprising the arch itself, which should point toward the center of the arch. It's better to suggest them rather than showing every brick. To draw the Golden Gate Bridge, which is a parabola, define the edges of the bridge, like I did here, and then mark each side with the same number of units, usually differing in length. Here I made the vertical units smaller than those going into the distance. Then connect different numbers together. So you connect number 4 to number 1, number 3 to number 2, and so on. And then you get a parabolic curve, which is hard to find any other way. Then get rid of those construction lines and draw vertical lines, giving the bridge stability. And then finally overlay one parabolic curve over the other to give it a 3D form. Another way to draw parabolas is using inclined planes. So divide up this vertical line into equal units, and then we can start with this white box that goes to this top vanishing point. The next one connects to the white box and vanishes at this yellow dot here, and so on. And then you get a curve like this. Superimpose the two curves and have the one in front be lighter than the one in back. To draw a bridge in perspective, you could start with an upright rectangle that converges toward the left vanishing point. And you can see the bridge curves over this rectangle and then down so that this distance is shorter than this distance. And its convergence toward the right vanishing point determines its width. To draw this three-dimensional arch, start with an ellipse in front and duplicate it in the back, and then connect them with these yellow lines. These yellow lines should either be parallel or converge together. Another way to draw an arch in perspective is to start with a grid and then fit in the arches. So this arch is 9 units tall and 2 units wide. And this second arch is also 9 units tall and 2 units wide. Now you could also put the arches into boxes and then use multiplying rectangles. So we could start with this point right here and then go through the middle here to find where this arch begins at this line. Alternatively, you could start with a plan view or a frontal view and then find a point on eye level and connect parts of these arches to that measuring point. So I chose the middle of the arch here in each case and drew lines to the measuring point. Then where it crosses this converging line, draw vertical lines and then fit the ellipses into these different spaces. In my next video, I'll show you some examples of perspective in pictures, and please remember to subscribe.